All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Holy guacamole. We're back for episode 2 of the Spiked Insight channel podcast, not channel.
Well,
Well,
YouTube.
it is a YouTube channel,
Yep.
but the Spiked Insight podcast. Week 1 of having the first episode up. What do you think?
I think it's just cool to have a podcast. I guess, it's just going to take time for people to hopefully listen to it. But also, if nobody ever listens to it, it's still been really fun to learn how to do it.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Yeah, it's been super fun. Yeah, we got the first episode up. We got all the social media accounts created. We created some clips, which I thought was kind of cool just to do, because I feel like we've been, you see clips of podcasts or all sorts of stuff all the time. It's weird kind of to see yourself
In a clip.
in a clip.
Dude, totally.
One of my clips got immediately silenced on Instagram that we posted, so then we deleted that just because, not for anything bad, but I think Instagram just didn't like a singular word I used.
I think it didn't like a couple of the words and phrases that you used, but
Whatever.
Meta has whatever, trying to keep kids safe, I guess. So it makes sense, but it's cool at least that it showed up on YouTube. I saw it today on YouTube.
Yeah. That honestly was the longest. The part that took the longest was posting
The clips.
on every platform, because it's kind of I guess in my head it was well, if we make the clips, doesn't make sense to limit where we post the clips.
Right. And it's so easy to create accounts for, you know, TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff. And it's well, I remember for your other podcast, you obviously didn't post clips, but you would post a picture.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was very minimal effort. And even when we were doing that, I think on my last podcast, we just kind of didn't put the time and the effort in. And we definitely knew things could be better, but it was kind of just we're doing this for fun sort of thing. And obviously we're doing this one for fun too, but taking it a little bit more seriously, which I think it's been fun. I think it feels we said in the first episode, it feels more intentional, but
totally. And we got some positive feedback this morning. Cole.
Oh yeah.
The guy on the CU team, shout out Cole.
Shout out Cole.
He said that the set looked really good. He liked it.
He might have just been saying that because we were specifically called out, hopefully it looks good. But yeah, we changed the background lighting to green instead of blue this time, mixing it up. We also added in Buffy, the Bad Day Slayer, gave him a poppy drink. You should actually give the backstory of Buffy, the Bad Day Slayer.
Yeah, so the story starts off really sad, but then I promise it gets a lot better. But one day I was in college. It was my last year of college, my last year of outdoor season, my 5th year. I was super excited. I was really fit. And I was riding my bike to school, and a lady ran a stop sign and hit me while I was riding my bike. And unfortunately, I woke up in the ambulance, headed to the hospital, and I had to basically spend the whole morning in the ER while they were doing all these tests. Luckily, unluckily, the only thing I had was brain damage. So
yeah,
I had a concussion, and I remember at first I was this is so stupid. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. But unfortunately, obviously when I was knocked unconscious, stuff flew out of my backpack. And so I didn't have my phone. My phone flew out of my backpack. I had my computer, which was good. So I sent some emails to some professors and the coaches at the University of Colorado. I sent Heather an email and I was hey, I got in an accident this morning. I'm in the hospital. I lost my phone. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be at practice today because I was hit by a car. So I sent this email, and then I had to use the phone in the hospital to call people to tell them. And the only phone numbers that I had memorized were my mom's phone number, my dad's phone number, Kyle's phone number, which was pretty good because we had only been dating for 5 months at that point?
When was that, in March?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was right before your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
called Kyle on the hospital phone because I called my mom first and I was like, "Hey mom, I'm in the hospital. Like I was just hit by a car. Do you think you can send we have a family friend who lives in Boulder, Mark. I was like, "Do you think you can send his last name is Miller, like Mark over to the hospital to get me because like I don't really want to ride my bike home after just like getting hit by a car and brain damage." And so she was like, "Yeah, I'll send Mark
You
over."
had a concussion.
I did. I had a
Yeah.
concussion.
Not, I mean, yes, technically concussion is.
At first I was like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm totally fine." But the nurse at the in the hospital, he was like, "You have to dial 9 to like dial out of the whatever system and then you can dial the number." And this is how I knew that my brain was all mushed up because I could not get it right. I was like, dial 9 first? What? Like it didn't make any sense, but it was so hard for me to press 9 first and then dial the phone number. It seriously took me like 10 minutes to call my mom because I kept messing it up, which is crazy. Like I know my mom's phone number. I know dial 9 first, but obviously I had a concussion, so my brain wasn't working.
Yeah.
So then I call Kyle and luckily he picks up.
Yeah, that was a really fucked up phone call. So like I think this was in what, the middle of the day?
And no, it was like at 10 a.m., 9 a.m., something like that.
Yeah, but by the time you called me.
Oh, yeah, it was like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
probably.
So I get this call from Val, or no, I get this call from some random number because it wasn't Val's phone number. And it's obviously Val, and she's like low key crying, like sounds kind of weird. And basically all she says is, I got hit by a car. And then basically I'm like, whoa, like, are you okay? She's like barely responds and then like hangs up. And
No, I
no,
think I
and
said,
you
like,
said like
I'm in
I'm
the
in the hospital. Yeah, yeah, I got hit by a car. I'm in the hospital, and
I
I'm
was like,
like,
okay, bye.
yeah, and like I'm like, holy shit, like, what the fuck? And I try to call the number back, and it's like a hospital line.
Yeah.
So I'm like all freaked out. Like obviously in that moment, I feel like your head just goes to a place where like, okay, is my girlfriend gonna die? I don't know. Or is she like gravely injured? I don't know. Um, yeah. So then I like just like, yeah, I just like left Gunnison because literally didn't have any information besides that like fairly cryptic concerning phone call. Um,
And I told you I lost my phone too.
yeah. So I knew I wasn't going to get any more information. And yeah, I mean, obviously I was like, well, obviously I probably should just go because I have no idea like how rough of shape you're in. And then I was like, if she is like relatively okay, like I guess it's just like a good excuse to go see you too. But yeah, that was a fucked up phone call. That was not cool.
So then obviously like they released me from the hospital around like 2 p.m. or whatever, and practice was starting at 2 p.m. And I had sent Heather an email. Like I pulled out my laptop as soon as I could to send her an email, but I don't think she saw it. So then I guess practice was starting and Heather was like, "Where the heck is Val? Like, did she seriously just not come to practice? Like she better have a good excuse." And then I guess she like was checking her phone because she was like, "Well, maybe she sent me a text." And then she checked her phone and she saw that I sent her an email, and then apparently she felt really bad because apparently she had like said something to people on the team like she better have a good excuse, like this is not okay or whatever. And then she sees the email where I'm telling her that like I got hit by a car, I'm in the emergency room, I only have a concussion, but like I won't be at practice today.
Yeah.
Lost my phone, etc. And so then she felt really bad, and so she bought me this stuffed animal, and she bought it this cute little outfit too. So
It didn't come with the outfit?
no, it did not. These are baby clothes. So
No
this
way.
this is like a onesie, like a baby onesie.
It wasn't made for the.
No, it was not made for the buffalo.
God,
See, look,
I didn't
it's a
know that.
onesie.
Yeah.
And then she cut a hole in the back for the tail to stick out.
No way.
Yeah.
This is a custom job.
It's
Hold
a
on.
custom
Let me
job.
see this
And
thing.
then this is a bib. So this is like a eating bib for a baby, but she put it on it backwards like a cape. And so now
Oh yeah, that's totally hand cut. That's
yeah.
hilarious.
So this is Buffy the Bad Day Slayer, and Heather got it for me when I got hit by a car. And obviously like it's really cool because I mean it's really cool outfit, like a cape on this buffalo and this little buffalo suit, and he's obviously a buffalo. And so yeah, that's the story behind Buffy. So he's really cool, and it was like pretty nice to get like a little stuffed animal. because then unfortunately, because I had a concussion, like the university has like a very strict concussion protocol, obviously for football and
Yeah.
like other contact sports, but all the sports have to follow the concussion protocol. And even though like the new research suggests that actually exercising after a concussion is good for you because it can help like make the swelling go down and it can help get the blood flow back. It's apparently good for you. But because they have to follow the same protocol, I wasn't allowed to come to practice for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
which really sucked. So Heather was just writing me training, but I couldn't actually come to practice to do it. So I had to train by myself for 2 weeks. But I think I came up, no, you were in Boulder for like a week, right?
No. I think I was just down for, because it didn't happen on like a Friday or something.
Or a Thursday, something like that.
Yeah, I think I was just there for the weekend or something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you then came up like a week later or something.
Yeah, because
or 2 weeks later or something, because you couldn't.
I still couldn't practice with
Yeah,
the
you
team.
couldn't technically practice. I think that's what happened, but
So I was like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna go to Gunnison for like a long weekend, hang
Yep.
out with Kyle, and like, which was really nice. And then I went on the long run with you and Charlie, and like I still had this concussion, and so like because of the concussion, sometimes I would like puke,
yeah, that's right. Wasn't Turco there?
and I think it was just you and Chuck. Oh, maybe Turco was there.
Yeah, I
And
don't
maybe
know.
he ran with us for a little bit or something. But like because of the concussion, I would like sometimes throw up randomly, which I don't know if is like a good thing, but like
No, it's definitely not good to just randomly throw up.
but it would happen. And so like
Yeah, we were both. I think Charlie and I were both like, oh god.
Charlie and Kyle were both freaking out because I was like, hold on, I have to puke. And so then we stopped like we were like 10 miles away from the university, like 8 miles away from the university, and I
Yeah.
had to stop and throw up because you stopped to poop in a porta potty or whatever.
I'm thinking. Well, maybe it probably. It's
No,
a
you-
pretty normal long run occurrence.
Yeah, and then I was puking my guts up, and Charlie was like, yo, what is going on here?
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, I'm fine, let's keep going.
yeah. That does sound like. Yeah, there's probably gonna if some medical professional listening to this, they'd be like, oh god, that's not good. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
But
maybe if there's
you
a
ended up
medical
being all good.
professional listening, let us know. Did I do irreversible damage to my brain?
Probably
Or
not. I think you're probably fine. But yeah. Anyways, that's the story of
That's the
Buffy
story
the Bad Day Slayer. I did not know that the onesie was custom fit.
custom fit.
That's
by
pretty
Heather
cool,
Burrows.
actually. I thought this thing was just like this was the stock Buffy.
No, because if you look at the buff store now, you'll see buffaloes like this, but they're not wearing the cute
Yeah, I
little
didn't
outfit.
even. Yeah, that's a very nice touch. Very thoughtful. This thing has lived in our house forever, and I didn't know that. So learn something new every day, I guess.
Can't believe you thought this is what it came with, but anyways.
All right. Moving on. We made an upgrade. I complained in our last episode about our mixer. Problem was that it was dying. So now we have a DC 5-volt plug-in. So that's never going to be a problem again. This podcast is going places. I'm excited about it. But yeah, what's I guess besides that pointless update, any updates, weekly updates from the last time we filmed the podcast?
Yeah, sure. I was thinking it might be cool. And I don't know if you guys are listeners, if you guys are interested in this, but I was thinking that maybe I could do like a workout of the week type update where I talk about a workout that I did and maybe what the purpose of the workout was and how I felt about it.
Yeah. I
Cool.
think that's a good idea.
So today, actually, Kyle came to practice because it's Labor Day weekend, so it's Monday.
Labor Day.
Labor Day. We got the day off, and so Kyle came to practice this morning, and he actually got to help out with the workout that I was doing. And I'm racing the Fifth Ave Mile next Sunday, and so today was kind of like the last, I guess, big workout before that race. And so today we went to the outdoor track, and I did 200 sprints, and I did 8 by 200. And the first set of 4, I was kind of trying to make them feel like smooth and floaty. And so I averaged close to like 33, I think, for those.
That was like 32.
32 for those. And then the last 4, I wanted to be kind of like floaty for the first 100 and then accelerate the last 100. And so for those, I was able to run 30, and then I
It
think
was like 29.
yeah, and then I ran two.
I would say you probably averaged 29.
Okay, so I ran 29s for the last 4. And then after that was done, I wanted to do some accelerators, like 100-meter accelerators, to just kind of touch the top speed a little bit without making my hamstrings too sore or anything. So then I did 2 super fast accelerators, and it felt really good, which was a huge improvement from on Friday. I did a workout. I did 6x400 on the road, and I didn't feel good. Like, I felt pretty slow, and it was really, really hard. And so having the 200s go really well today made me feel a lot better.
Yeah. You were kind of freaking out that workout didn't feel good. And then, like, right before we started filming, you were like, oh, I think I know why I didn't feel good. So, yeah, we don't necessarily have to share that unless you want to. But, yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a really good reason why it didn't feel great on Friday.
That you just identified,
That I just identified,
3 days later.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I need to not be so hard on myself and just, if I have a bad day, it's not the end of the world.
Type A women's distance runners. It's such a crazy thing that they overanalyze things sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I like that segment. Workout of the week.
Yeah, so that was pretty fun. It's always fun to do speed. Obviously, the steeplechase, there's a lot more technique involved, and obviously being fast is important, but being fast isn't the only thing. Definitely having good technique over the hurdles and over the water jump is important, and having a lot of strength to maintain that speed as you kind of get tired faster is more important. So it has been kind of fun to do these faster, speedier sessions, and even doing the 400s on the road, even though the workout didn't go as well as I was hoping it would be. It was still fun to kind of have a change of scenery instead of just being, on a 400-meter track. I got to be out in the world on a road, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm getting really excited for the Fifth Avenue Mile. It'll be my first ever road race as a professional athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And
is it? Yeah, I guess it is. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, you in 2021 you were gonna do the Fifth Ave Mile, but then you didn't for some reason.
Yeah.
I can't remember why.
Well,
or I think you just were tired and you wanted to shut down your season.
I was tired and I wanted to shut down my season, and the only reason I thought that I would continue was in hopes of getting a contract.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But I just had to fire that agent and get a new one to get a contract.
Yeah, well, that was a whole weird situation. Yeah. Maybe a story for another time.
Yeah, a story for another time. If you want to know the story, I can tell you, but obviously everyone will be named nameless.
Yeah, for sure. I also think there's a lot of about that we don't really probably even know.
Oh, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that went on behind the scenes that we had no idea.
Yeah, that probably would explain things. But anyways, all right, cool. Anything else before we hop into kind of the rest? Any other updates?
No other updates. Do you have any updates?
Well, I don't have a workout of the week, but I do have a homeowner being awful part of the week. I was in my crawl space yesterday, and I had there. Basically, it's been raining really, really hard the last week in Boulder. It hasn't rained the last 2 days or 3 days, but it rained really. It was raining really hard throughout the whole last I don't know, Monday through Thursday, or maybe it was longer, but it rained a bunch, and I had a problem in the house earlier this year, and yeah. Anyways, we there was some flooding from a plumbing issue in my crawl space under my house. We live in a ranch style house, and they're just one level, and it has a crawl space underneath. But I had a plumber who said oh, you also might, besides the plumbing issue, there also might be some water in here from some groundwater. So I checked my crawl space yesterday just to see if there was some groundwater, and it's just in this small corner, but there was, which was really shitty. So I had to crawl back down into the crawl space and get it all cleaned up and mitigate any risk of mold.
And this crawl space is truly a crawl space. Like you can't even squat down there. Like you have to
Yeah, you have to
crawl
crawl.
on your hands and knees. It's awful. And there's cobwebs everywhere. And
Yeah.
right before Kyle went down, we noticed these giant spiders, and I poked one of the spiders with a stick, and it jumped down into the crawl space and ran and hid. And so then all of a sudden we were both fearfully aware that there was a
Well,
giant
no, not
spider.
Val. Val doesn't
Well, then
have
I
to
had to
do
jump
the
in
shitty
there
things.
and hand you something.
Oh God,
And
you
I
gotta
was
hand me something.
scared.
Um,
Regardless, there was a giant
yeah,
spider.
Val basically knocks this giant wolf spider into the hole that I'm about to climb into. And she didn't have to, like she could have pushed it the other way, but instead she pushes it right into the hole.
No, I poked it and it jumped.
You pushed it.
No, I poked
And I'm
it.
like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, I didn't
It
even
was,
see it.
yeah. So then I had to crawl down where like I don't know, very large size spider, which also there's like a million spiders down there, but you don't necessarily see like any like big ones, but I know they're down there just because
Well, didn't
it's,
you see the dead bodies? Like there's a bunch of dead spider
yeah,
bodies
but like all within like the joists on like the floorboards and stuff. It's just like
covered in dead spider bodies.
and spider webs, and yeah, it's awful. It's
gross.
Yeah, I've spent way more time in my crawl space than I want to, but yeah, now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do about the potential groundwater issue. I'm also like, how long has this problem been going on? But I don't think it's ever been like that bad because there's no like mold or anything, like any like noticeable signs of like mold. So I don't think it's ever really been an issue. I think there might be a drainage issue outside of the house, so I'm gonna do that first before I get like a sump up. But anyways, no one gives a shit about that because that's really boring and awful. But if you have a crawl space, my advice is don't go in there. It's awful. And if you're thinking about buying a house, I don't know, think about it because it's kind of a scam sometimes. It's not as good as it sounds. I mean, yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, it's like you have oh yeah, you've made all this equity in your house in 30 years. You can take advantage of it.
In 30 years.
But in the meantime, you have to do all this bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm very fortunate to own a house. I don't want to complain, but there's a lot of stupid ass shit that you have to deal with that I'm not a huge fan of. If you live and rent an apartment or rent a house and you have a landlord that does that stuff, yeah, that's
awesome.
pretty sweet because taking care of shit, yeah, it's awful. So, and like stuff like that, it's like you have to take care of it immediately. You can't just like leave. Those are the worst types of house projects. It's like, oh, like this needs to be improved or that could be better. It's like problems where it's like if you don't fix this ASAP, it's going to turn into a larger issue,
Yeah.
and then it just like blows up your day. Like we were actually planning on filming this podcast yesterday, and then yeah, the groundwater decided to ruin my day. But that's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
Anyways, I didn't plan on going on that tangent, but yeah.
That's what's new in Kyle's life. Homeownership.
Yeah, being a professional athlete or cleaning up groundwater in a crawl space, you choose which is better. I think I know what I would choose. So, anyways, all right. So, I don't know how long we've just been basically riffing for on all this other bullshit. I can't even see the time because I'm blind. But anyways, what we wanted to talk about today primarily was the Diamond League, particularly the Diamond League final that happened like 5 days ago. Yeah, it was on Wednesday of last week or this week. No, last week. And it was a sick meet. We kind of just wanted to talk through the results and thoughts. But yeah, I mean, obviously this year you raced more Diamond Leagues than you ever have. And I was lucky enough to tag along to all of them. And yeah, I mean, my overwhelming takeaway from the Diamond League was just all the Diamond League meets it was honestly pretty incredible. I think every one we were at was completely sold out. It was like, I mean, even in Luzon when it was basically like hurricane rain, there was like the seats were filled, which was pretty incredible. But yeah, I guess we could just start from the top and just talk through the results if you want to.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so do you want to start men, women first? Do you want to start with distance events?
Let's start with
Sprints?
distance.
Okay, yeah, we can. I think that's probably like where we probably care the most about. All right, so let's start with the 800 women's race. Um, there wasn't like any of like necessarily like massive of like on the world stage. I guess Georgia Bell, she got second in 155 in a PB, and then I actually don't know Audrey Wero. Looks like she's Swiss. So she won in Zurich. That's pretty cool. They were in 155. Um, and looked like Hunter Bell or Georgia Bell was gonna catch her.
I know.
But she didn't quite have the room. And yeah, I mean that was a good race. They ran definitely fast. I think just on that note, Georgia Bell, who got a bronze last year in Paris in the 1500, officially announced this week that she's gonna do the 800 this year, which is pretty insane. I think it's insane for two reasons. I'm pretty sure Georgia Bell, like before the Olympics, like sometime early last year, didn't have a contract at all.
No, she didn't have a contract like until the Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah, I think she got a contract last year. I don't know exactly when, but still,
like
she was
first year,
sponsored.
like locking in. Like before that, she was like working and
Yeah,
just
and I think she like came back to it.
Yeah,
Comes back,
gets a
bronze medal in the 1500, which is crazy. And then on top of that, she's now like so damn good that
she can get second in the Diamond League final.
Well, not even that, but like imagine getting a bronze. Like imagine getting a bronze in the steeple and be like, you know what, next year I'm gonna do the 5K.
Yeah, that's basically what it's like.
It's the same thing. It's pretty crazy. So
it's impressive.
Yeah, I would definitely put her. I mean, I think she could totally medal again. I mean, 155 is super
fast.
super legit. And she's definitely a game time player. Only American in the race. Addie Wiley didn't have a great day. She raced a lot of Diamond Leagues this year.
She did.
She probably raced more Diamond Leagues than any other American that I know of. I mean, I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me, but she definitely raced a lot.
She's been at a lot of the meets. Yeah. So that's good. She's young too, so she's getting after it.
Yeah, she ran 159. I can't imagine she was super pumped with that, but yeah, obviously she's I think overall had a pretty solid year. All right, next up, women's 1500. Do you want me to so you can see these results a little bit? This race was crazy.
This race was sweet.
Also, one thing I want to mention too is we watched we weren't able to watch the whole thing because it was on a Wednesday and I was working. I had a bunch of meetings, but I caught some of the races, but the races that we weren't able to watch live, we watched back. And I think the women's 1500 meter was pretty insane in the sense of like, obviously Jess Hall is so good. I mean, I think she could, on the right day, she could potentially beat Faith. I mean, obviously, I think Faith is definitely like the overwhelming favorite, but on a good day, I would put Jess up there. But she tied up like crazy.
I know, yeah.
Like crazy, like that last 100. She
was really ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, she had a lot of space, and she was still able to hold on for second. Nelly Chepchirchir got first in 3:56.99. So it wasn't an overwhelmingly fast race. Jess went out fast, and then it sounds like not everyone went with her, but just kind of ran out of wheels. Yeah, but the last 50 meters was
it was intense.
Was tough to watch. Yeah. Jess tie up really bad. But Linden Hall, 3:57.44 for third. And then the Americans holding it down in fourth and fifth. Sinclair Johnson, 3:57.80 for fourth. And then Heather McLean for fifth. And Sinclair and looked really good, and
Heather bouncing back because I think Luzon was tough for her. She seemed pretty disappointed, and so or not Luzon, Brussels. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she didn't seem
pumped after Brussels.
About Brussels, but yeah, I mean you can't have a good race every single time. But she got fifth in the Diamond League final, which is nothing to scoff at. So
I know that's good.
Yeah. Shout out to the Americans. It'll be really interesting to see like how the women's 1500 meter team does at Worlds.
I think we are sending a really solid team. I mean, Nikki is obviously a pretty seasoned vet at this point, like going into the World Championships or the Olympics.
Yeah.
Nikki obviously also knows how to win. The way they won in Brussels was pretty impressive. Kind of letting.
Not Brussels. It was.
It was Brussels.
Was it?
Yeah. It was Brussels.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because
Jesus.
Lyndon Hall went with the pacing lights and then
That's right.
blew up.
That's right. That's right.
And Nikki didn't go with Lyndon because I remember thinking like, oh wow, like they're just not going to go with her because they had a pacer.
Yeah.
And then Nikki was able to like close that gap and get Lyndon right at the line basically.
Yeah.
So that was pretty impressive. And so like I think that Nikki is in a good spot to potentially, I mean it's going to be tough to beat Faith.
I think Nikki could definitely
medal.
Definitely medal. I think the only thing that is potentially limiting is like the pace.
Yeah.
I think a fast race definitely plays more towards the strengths of like Jess and Faith.
But a sit and
But yeah, if it's like a 3:55 race, I mean,
well, because I mean that's essentially what Grand Slam was preparing Nikki for this whole entire year was these like kind of sit and kick type races because that's how the women's field went in Grand Slam. Anyways, we'll talk about Grand Slam later. But
yeah.
And then obviously Sinclair is a gamer. Sinclair, this is her second world team that she'll be competing in, and so I think Sinclair, obviously she should make it to the final at Worlds, and then Emily Mackay also should be able to squeak through as well. So I think we could see 3 Americans in the final at Worlds, which would be sweet.
The 1500 is gnarly, but yeah, I definitely think that they can all be in the final for sure. Okay, moving on. 3000 meter women's race. Honestly, I thought it was a little bit weird that. I mean, I think it's good that the Diamond League is experimenting. I don't know if this is commonplace, but instead of
3000.
No. But they instead of the 5K, they traded it for the 3K.
Yeah.
But that also the qualification system still like applied. So like I'm pretty sure that if you won
the
3K, like Grant Fisher, if he would have won the 3K, he would have got Cooper Tier's spot on the world team. So it still applied like the wild card system for even though they were running a 3K, which I thought was a little bit weird. I mean, the 3K was good. I don't really care too much, but yeah, I would have loved to know why they chose, or maybe it's just common. Maybe at the Diamond League final they do a 3K instead of a 5K.
I know that they do race a 3K at like in the Diamond League circuit. It's not uncommon for there to instead of a 5K be a 3K. So that's common, but it is interesting to me that they would have maybe they were just trying to keep the people who are going to Worlds interested in the Diamond League final because a 5K probably is harder on your body than a 3K.
Yeah, well, no, it is for sure, but
so maybe they're thinking like, oh, well, maybe more people will come if it's a shorter race.
Yeah, but kind of not the fastest race, but I think the big highlight is Josette Andrews almost won. She got second by just under like half a second. She was close. She was definitely there, and she got second in the Diamond League final, which is awesome. She was the only American in the race. An Ethiopian, I'm gonna butcher her name, Fante Belene. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not gonna try to pronounce any more of these names that I don't know. But she won. They ran like 8:40. Everyone was pretty close too. Like the top 7 were separated by 3 seconds. So pretty close race.
I mean, Josette's a gamer. Like she's really freaking good. I think that at US champs, maybe it was like not an A+ day for her, but I do think that Josette is the best American 5Ker. I mean, her time is obviously the best this year.
Yeah.
And so, if she can have an on day at Worlds, I don't see why she couldn't be fighting for, a top position as well.
Yeah. No, I agree.
She's really, really good.
Yeah, I think in a lot of the women's distance events, the American women can definitely be more competitive than they ever have been. I think the biggest limiting factor is if the Africans go out really, really hard, because we just haven't seen that consistency of like Americans running as fast as,
or at least going out that hard.
yeah,
Because you'll see them, like the American men will go with like a crazy move and it pays off, obviously.
yep,
But I think the women are a little bit more intimidated to go with crazy moves like that. But I mean, Nikki's gone with some pretty crazy moves in the past, and
yeah. It's just like if the race is more
Josette
like
went with that
close
crazy
to like
move.
world record, like in the 5K, if they're running like low, 14 to
Yeah.
14, 15, that gets really difficult. It's the same thing in the 1500. Like if they're running like 350 pace, it's
Yeah.
just, I think again, American women are knocking on the door. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's like, that's like one step above where they're at. So I'm hoping that they can crush it. All right. Next distance event, probably the one we were the most interested in, the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase. 3 Americans in the race: Courtney Wayment, Gabby Jennings, and Olivia Markachek.
Only 9 women raced.
Yeah, 9 women raced. I think what happened was there was a Polish girl, and I think she like twisted her ankle on one of the water jumps. I think that's what happened because Gessa Kraus was pacing it. Also, let us know what you think. I think it's a little bit odd in the Diamond League final to have pacers. I don't think, my personal opinion, I see no reason why there should ever be pacers in any sort of like final.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think at championship events, they shouldn't even have lights. It's just a race. Personally,
I'm fine with having lights.
I mean, I guess, but I would like the purity of just like
No, I agree.
in a
I don't
final,
think
it's
I don't.
about winning.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not as crazy about the lights, but my thing with the pacers is you shouldn't have pacers in a final race, because especially like what we were just talking about is like, okay, maybe the American women don't have as fast of PRs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then for the people that, like Africans in the race that might know like, oh, well, my PR is faster than them, I could probably beat them if I run a fast race. Well, make them make it a fast race.
Exactly.
Don't like give them that like free pass to just like run
Behind
like
a pacer.
run behind a pacer. Like have them have to be really intentional about like where they want to finish.
And control the pace too. And if they go out too hard, suffer the consequences.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So
If they don't go out hard enough, then the Americans will be breathing down their neck. I agree with you 100%.
yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, any championship event, no pacers. And Diamond League final is a championship event.
Yeah, but I also think that like one thing, and I've talked about this on the podcast I had before this, where in my opinion, so I am a huge fan of this wild card system that they had, where like you could qualify from a wild card at the Diamond League final. Like if you win or someone on like in your country wins and you guys don't already have a wild card because you have a world champion, that you can send another person. I really think that's good. And the reason I think that that's really good is, in my opinion, if you look at any sports league, every league, especially like, if you're looking at super popular sports like, soccer in any like, country besides the US, or like the NFL, NBA, like the season is all cumulative, right? So it's like you have to perform throughout the season, and then that weighs into playoffs, and then obviously the people who make the playoffs can compete to make the championships, and then make the championship and win. And I think that's been a huge element that's been missing from like track and field, is the connective tissue from like the whole season into the postseason in like an official sense. Obviously, like people are going to say, well, what are you talking about? Like you built throughout the season. Yes, for sure. But the Diamond League now with this wild card system is actually creating a system where it's like, okay, you have to go to Diamond Leagues, you have to qualify for the Diamond League final. And hey, if you win the Diamond League final, you could make it to Worlds, which is like, again, leading into that like collective endpoint at the end of the season, which and the reason why I think that's so important is like, it gives everything weight, where, every race, there's a little bit more on the line of like, okay, well, I mean, even for you, right? Like there was, and not the sense that you thought you were going to get a wild card, but it was like you wanted to make the Diamond League final. And because you had some races that didn't go the way you wanted to, it was like, a little bit shitty that you weren't going to, it got more and more difficult to make the Diamond League final this year. Even though if you would have had a good day in Luzon, you probably could have made it.
Or if I had just stayed out there, I probably could have.
Yeah, maybe there was a chance you could have gotten in because, yeah, the Polish girl, yeah, I don't know how she got into that race. But regardless, yeah, my theory, and again, this is well documented on my other podcast, that I think that what track and field is missing is like, I wasn't a huge, like, I think like Grand Slam, for example, I think was good in the sense of like just investing in the sport. But I think the biggest thing is that like leagues like the Diamond League or like Grand Slam, they need to basically be tied in with like the World Championships or the Olympics, because that will give more people of a reason to care and like watch, right? Like most football fan, I mean, obviously there are some people that are not football fans, just watch the Super Bowl, but like a lot of people watch throughout the season. It's because like their team, it matters how they do throughout the season. So I think it adds to the storyline a lot. Anyways, that was a huge side tangent, but I do think that the wild card system is awesome.
And the best part about the wild card system is it's going to just increase the level of competition at the World Championships, because, certain countries, the US obviously is one of them. The US probably has, I would say on the men's and women's side, probably 6 in each gender of the best sprinters in the world. But obviously maybe only 3 of those sprinters actually get to compete in the country. Mm-hmm. And so, Noah Lyles, we haven't gotten to this yet, but obviously Noah Lyles winning in the 200 gives a wild card spot to another American.
No. No, it doesn't. So that was the only thing I don't like. And I'm not a huge, this is the only part of the wild card system.
Because he was the world champion. Okay. But maybe.
Like same thing with Christian Coleman. Anyways, yeah.
But then didn't Melissa Jefferson win the Diamond League final in the 100?
Nope.
Who did?
Wrong.
Who did?
Hold on. I think, one sec. Julian Alfred.
Oh.
Yeah, there was
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. But basically what I'm trying to say is like if somebody from our country who wasn't a world champion won this sprinting event, it would give the United States an opportunity to have another American sprinter.
Yeah, I agree.
And same for a country like Kenya. Like obviously the Kenyan woman who won the 1500, she just gave her country another opportunity to put another Kenyan at the World Championships, which is huge.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to because Faith obviously
yeah,
is. Okay, but still, like it's giving people, it's going to make the fields deeper.
No, for sure.
Cool.
Yes, for sure. Because
I know that both of the examples that I picked
were
terrible, but I hope that you understand what I'm saying. That it's just exciting.
No. It is good, and I 100% agree with your point, because that is a problem with I think just the format of like the World Championships is like some countries are so deep.
Yeah.
That now, granted, yes, you're getting the best, but
you only get 3 of
the
best.
Yeah, right. So it's like in distance running, like African countries.
Like in Kenya, I would be willing to bet that probably the top 5 steeplechase times this year are all from native-born Kenyans. Whether or not they're running for Kenya,
I don't know. I don't know, but
because like they're just really, really freaking good, and so you want to see the best people compete.
Yeah, and I think I mean obviously like the Diamond League's doing it right, but
yeah, they are. Let's move on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So I guess just back to the steeple, we can just like blaze through this really quick. Faith Cheritich won an 8:57, not like crazy fast. I think I'm not 100% sure what the pace was at. Hold on, let me see what the splits were. Okay, yeah, she went through. Guess went through in 2:56, and then she went through 2K in 5:58. So just under 9 minute pace. American women did pretty solid. Courtney Wayment was fourth in 9:14. Gabby Jennings was fifth in 9:15. Big bounce back for Gabby. She had a rough day in Luzon. Yeah, it sounded like she might have been under the weather. But yeah, I mean, that was a good bounce back.
And a good payday for all those Americans too.
Yeah, and then Olivia Markachuk was seventh. I honestly thought she might actually be the top American going into that because she looked good in Luzon and seems like she's been kind of building throughout the season. But obviously, at the end of the day, sometimes comes down to just like on the day, maybe just didn't have a good day. But she's trending in the right direction. I think she's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
So
agreed.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm excited. I think all of you guys, like my one takeaway, and I was talking to you about this, is like, I think like next year, I think could be a pretty insane year for like kind of breaking through that barrier for American steeplechase. Yeah, of like chasing some really fast times because like, yeah, I think the biggest thing is like, like Nora Geruto, who got second in the women's 3K steeplechase at the Diamond League final. She like kind of went with faith and she kind of like faded off. But I think that
that's Geruto's thing though.
Yeah, sometimes she has good days and sometimes she has bad days.
Yeah, it's like Geruto will sometimes go with the pack and run like, I think her PR is like 9 flat or 850 something. Geruto's fast. She'll either go with the pack, run an insanely fast time, or she goes with the pack and dies a super painful death and runs like 8:30.
Yeah, she ran 8:59 this year.
Yeah, she's really good. And that's kind of, I mean, unless...
And her PR is 8:53, which she ran back in 2020.
Unless you're like Faith or Yavi or Peruth, like these women who are consistently running into the low 850s and breaking into the 840s, unless you're one of those women, it seems like a lot of the women who do break 9 minutes just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think that's the thing. I think that what we're going to see soon for the American women is like
gonna go for it.
Just gotta like send it because your guys' PRs aren't like that far off. Like, yeah, obviously going out at 256 or whatever, that is risky.
Yeah, but for example, even for Gabby, like she's a 906 girl now, and same with Courtney Wayman, a 906 girl. It's not completely unheard of in a steeplechase to run a 6-second PB.
Yeah, I think so I think that you guys are knocking on the door of just being like,
we're here.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
like, let's just go for it.
We're gonna run 8:58 or whatever. I agree. I think once one American does it, I think it'll become a lot more attainable.
Yeah.
At least if one American can kind of do it a little bit more consistently, because Courtney Frericks did it in the Diamond League final in 2021, which was awesome. But then obviously, like, had some injury stuff and wasn't able to replicate that. And so I think that, especially when one of the younger Americans, or potentially even me, is able to kind of like run 9 flat or run under 9 more consistently, I think it'll become a lot more attainable for the other Americans to start kind of scratching at that door too.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, because I think you guys are right there.
I think so too.
And I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to start happening really soon. I think all the depth in steeplechase too is going to help with that.
And this was a down year, I think, for,
some folks in there.
For some folks. Even Olivia Markachuk probably would say this was a down year for her too.
Yeah, she technically ran a PR. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, you'd have to ask her.
Olivia Markachuk is probably like a 9.0 type girl.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I don't know if like a 9.12 is, I mean, she's certainly much better.
No, she didn't. I think she ran 9:14 at USA's.
Okay, 9.4. I mean, she's...
Yeah.
She's
it doesn't
much better
matter.
than that.
It doesn't matter.
There, a lot of us had like a down year this year because, the Olympic year is hard, but I definitely think these next couple of years.
Yeah, next couple of years, I think you're going to see a huge step up. I mean, the steeplechase has just gotten so much better. So just as an event as a whole.
Yep.
Okay, I would just say, just rounding out women's events, the women's 200. Brittany Brown was pretty sick. She got a wild card. She didn't make the team in Eugene, but won the Diamond League final and is going to be in Tokyo, which I think is awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because she's awesome. She's a really good runner. She got sponsored last year after making the Olympic team.
Was she unsponsored before that?
She was unsponsored at the
Oh,
trials.
that's awesome.
And then she obviously made the Olympic team and got sponsored by Nike, and she's legit. I really like Brittany Brown.
Yep. So yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I think again, like that is why I think the wild card system is a really cool thing.
I agree. Because she earned it. Like, she had to get invited to the Diamond League final, and then she had to win it. And it was a tight race, honestly. Like, coming off the first 100, there were a lot of people who were right there. And she
looked really good though. She definitely, I guess it was kind of close. Dina Asher-Smith was pretty close to her.
And Dina was ahead of her, obviously, like going down the home stretch, but Brittany pushed really, really hard and beat Dina, which was legit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Going on to the men's events, unless there was any other events that you wanted to specifically talk about.
Nope.
All right. So let's start with the men's 800. I think there was more storylines, at least in men's distance, just in general, about like the significance of the Diamond League final and the potential for wild cards. Obviously, like one of the big ones was Josh Hoey. Is it Hoey or Hoey? I never know. I think I'm gonna go with Hoey. He won in Luzon. He looked really good. He ran fast relatively in like pretty shitty conditions to try to run fast. And did not look good. He got dead last, unfortunately. But won 144.25 for eighth. Emmanuel Wyoni won in 142. And then Bryce Hoppel, like the other American, got seventh. And like Max Bergen from the UK got second, 142. I actually had never heard of him before. And then Marco Arop, 142 for third. But a huge bummer for Josh Hoey. He had an incredible year. Obviously world champion in indoors, which is huge. Like really had like a breakout. It's kind of a heartbreaking year for him. Like he has this breakout year. He gets fourth at the trials last year. Has this breakout year. Looks like easily was the favorite to win the men's 800 in at U.S. champs, and just I don't know. I think probably had a little bit of bad race tactics, and
it's tough showing up on the day to perform like that. The people who can do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's really, really impressive. And I mean, he fought hard, and it's been a long season too.
Yeah, especially coming off of like indoors. Like that definitely adds like a certain level of risk. I feel
100%.
like going that hard in indoors and then going all the way through September. So I was bummed for Josh Hoey. I definitely think he's deserving of being there, but obviously, you know, the US qualification system is super brutal and cutthroat. And yeah, also the other thing I'll say is like Bryce Hoppel hasn't had like, I mean, he's obviously still run very fast, but hasn't had like the best year. I mean, his best race of the year, I mean, you could argue was almost like the US champs, but I've watched him race in a lot of these Diamond Leagues because he's been at a lot of the Diamond Leagues you've been at, and he hasn't run like super well, like relatively. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's good when it matters, so hopefully he'll turn it on at World Champs. But yeah, I feel for Josh Hoey, and you could see it on. He was interviewed by Flow Track after his race, and you could just see the disappointment.
Yeah, that's rowing is heartbreak.
Yeah, it's very heartbreaking. So, yeah, shout out Josh. He still had an incredible year.
We're rooting for you, Josh, if you ever hear this podcast.
Which you probably won't, but yeah, Josh is I mean, just keep doing what you're doing, man. It was a fun year to follow along. Another one, moving on to the men's 1500, with Yared, again vying for a wild card, gets third at the Olympics, bronze medalist, obviously a huge favorite. I think relatively going into the trials was looking the best. or like one of the best, not maybe not like the like standout by far favorite to like win or anything, but like definitely was top of mind for to make the team. Again, maybe some I don't think leading like wire to wire is like realistic with how fast everyone is. So maybe some like questionable race tactics, but obviously another person that should be on that team,
Yeah.
or like is deserving of being there at World Champs. Disappointing day, gets seventh in 3:30. He did say that he got a cold the week of the Diamond League final. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but it happens.
Yeah, which doesn't help.
Especially from you always hear stories about how like these kids in college get COVID and then 2 days later win the indoor title or something. And it's like,
I don't know
yeah,
about COVID,
no,
but yeah,
it's
getting a cold.
I've heard those stories though, where like these kids get sick and then they win, or like how Jenny Simpson had food poisoning in 2016 when she won the bronze at the Olympics, and you're like, or Courtney Frerichs had food poisoning when she got silver in 2021.
Yeah.
And you hear these stories and you're like, wow, that's really cool. But as from someone who's like been sick and had to compete while sick, it's really fucking hard to do.
Yeah.
And it, like, some people it doesn't bother them at all and they can just push through.
Well, I think some days you just show up and you're like, even though like circumstances would lead you to believe like it's going to be tough for them to have a good day. Like if you just show up, like again, it's like sometimes you just got to show up and like put your name in the hat and like see what happens. And I think that's more of I think it's more of just like showing up and just like going for it. Sometimes it's going to work out well, but obviously if you're not feeling good, it's more often than not going to go the way you want.
Yeah. And, sometimes if one thing isn't going right and then something else doesn't go right, it can spiral into this thing and it can be really hard mentally to show up, or physically too. Like if if he's sick, he probably wasn't sleeping well, he probably wasn't eating well.
Yeah.
Who
knows? I mean, he didn't look that great in Brussels either. After like he won in Silesia, in like a little bit of a slower race, but then in Brussels didn't look as good. And after watching his Brussels race, I was kind of like, Diamond League final might be tough. I mean, it was going to be tough regardless. Yeah. But
especially when the expectation is like, I have to win to go to Worlds. Like,
it's hard. It's a shit ton of pressure. Yeah, it's a shit ton of pressure.
Like he's racing against some scrubs. He's up against some of the best guys in the world at the Diamond League final.
Yeah, no, for sure. But here's the cool thing, and this is why I think it's still fucking cool. And like, huge shout out to Josh and Yared. Like, dude, it gives you the wild card system is awesome because it made the Diamond League final even that much more interesting.
Yep,
of
agreed.
Like watching those races and being like, yo, they're like they have a fucking chance, and like it's not like, oh, it's this like outside chance. Like it's like, yeah, they could win. I mean, I think Yared's won like the last 3 Diamond League finals. So, yeah, I mean, even though it didn't go their way, still really, really cool.
And entertaining.
Yeah.
The most important part.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what the sport needs.
Yeah, track and field is actually entertaining, but these stories, these storylines give things fans to look forward to, which is important.
Totally. Yeah, and Niels Laros, hopefully I'm saying that right. He was followed by 3 Kenyans in the Diamond League final, but he ran 3:29, ran a national record, and won the Diamond League final in the 1500. I think he's like I think he's a favorite to do really exceptionally well at Worlds. He's looked really good in the last, I mean, he won the Bowerman Mile out kicking Yared. He looked really good in Brussels, and there's probably some other races I'm missing, but looked really good in Brussels and then looked really good in Zurich at the Diamond League final. So he is trending in the right direction at the right time. And he finished, I think I saw somewhere he finished 6th last year at the Olympics. So he's close. So I'm excited. Yeah, this could be his year potentially. He's got a lot of good momentum, and momentum can really make a difference. So
100%.
So yeah. Anyways, all right, moving on to the men's 3000. 2 Americans in this one. Graham Blanks and Grant Fisher. I think the guy who won was French, Jimmy Gracier. He runs for like Kip Run. I don't know. He ran some like good indoor times, I think. But the top three were separated by 4 thousandths of a second or 400ths, whatever it is. And
it was a pretty intense race.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
definitely watching it.
And shout out to FlowTrack. I need to double check because I'm not 100% sure of like what the monthly cost is. I think it's still pretty expensive, so I'm not like a huge fan of like necessarily the monthly cost of FlowTrack. I think it's obviously expensive, but also at the same time like kind of makes sense that paying for like track and field might have to be expensive because there's not necessarily a lot of money in it. But I think they did a really good job like with their stream, and they've streamed all the Diamond Leagues this year, and it was pretty cool. Like they had Cooper Tier like on the stream with like I think they called it like the athlete lounge, but he was like watching Cooper Tier was watching the race, and like if Grant won, Cooper was gonna go to Worlds.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it's sick. So yeah, shout out FlowTrack. I think that's cool. I kind of felt like FlowTrack was like dying for like years,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily think their social media game is as strong as like obviously like Sidious Mag. I think Sidious Mag is way better on like social media and stuff than FlowTrack, but from like the streaming the Diamond League final and stuff, I think
good.
they've done a really good job.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see like Cooper's like live reaction to him like being like holy shit, I almost make the team.
Yeah, Grant was right there.
Brutal.
It was so brutal.
Yeah, Cooper seemed to handle it super well, but
Well, because it's kind of I get it. Like you don't want to get your hopes up too high in that situation because it's like, okay, well, Grant Fisher is gonna earn my spot for me, basically. So like,
well, no, he like earned it. Like he ran the world standard and everything.
I know
but
that, but still, like it's
a weird
like
situation
on
to be
somebody
in.
else. Like if it was on you, if it was like if Cooper had to be in the Diamond League final and win to earn his spot, then it would probably feel a lot different. Where you would be harder on yourself, like, oh man, like, oh my gosh, I should have whatever. But because it's somebody else, you're like, oh well, at least,
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
so at least that's the way I would feel about it. It's like- And then, if Grant Fisher if Grant Fisher won and I got to go, probably like buy Grant Fisher like some flowers or something.
Yeah, probably more than flowers, but yeah. Yeah.
Something.
No, but yeah, they ran yeah, he got a very close second.
Very close.
But yeah, Grant Fisher's always a gamer. He's always
He's legit.
fucking right there in every single race he runs, and he's always running to win, which you love.
And he puts his nose in it.
Yeah, Graham Blanks had a little bit of he ran 7:38.
I mean, you got to give the
super
kid
close.
some credit though, because he was, in Luzon. He was like, "Oh man, I really hope I want to race one more
Yeah,
time."
he finished 8th. Yeah, we saw him briefly. Graham Blanks is like
He's the man.
yeah, super cool.
He's a nice kid.
He was we talked to him for a second at the hotel after Luzon. He like hung out. He told us he hung out at the track to watch like a firework show that they had.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, I missed the bus and I had to run back." And he's like, "Yeah, if I could have just given my backpack to someone, the run would have been perfect." But it was cool because he was talking about the rate. Like he was like, "Yeah, I don't know. Like I gotta go talk to my coach, but I'd really like to run the Diamond League final. Hopefully, I qualified." He's like, "It'd probably be best to just like prepare for Worlds, but." I don't know. I'm just so excited to race. Like I just want to take advantage of all these cool opportunities. And I was just like, like that's just
It's
I
so
don't know.
beautiful. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like the purest love for the sport right there.
Yeah.
He's just this kid that's excited. And that's important to see even for me, especially because last year was like so heartbreaking in a lot of ways.
You mean this year?
Yeah, this past year was so heartbreaking to just see another competitor just so in love with the sport and so excited for these opportunities was actually really nice for me to see. To be like, okay, that's what it's all about right there.
Yeah.
Like nothing else
Yeah,
matters.
like objectively finishing 8th for him, like, he's a guy that could be winning Like,
Right.
he's good enough to be winning Diamond Leagues, but he's just like,
There was like 10 dudes in the race and he finished 8th, right? And so
no, I think there was more guys, but I think just moral of the story is like,
he's really good. He could have been
yeah, he's really good, and he was just pumped to
just be a part of it and to have that opportunity. And that's beautiful. And so it was really cool to see. So shout out, Graham. Thank you. You inspired me.
Yeah, no, it was.
It was
I was right there, and I remember thinking like,
well, then we talked about it like on the car ride back to the Airbnb. We were like, that's beautiful.
That's why you do
what
it.
It's all about.
Yeah, I think to that point, it's really easy to get caught up in all this bullshit of like, just, looking at everything objectively from a performance standpoint. And, like when we go to these Diamond Leagues and you do like your pre-race and you go to the stadium the day before, and it's like, holy shit, you're gonna like run in this fucking insane stadium,
and it's gonna be packed,
right? Like, it's just, I mean, insane. At the end of the day, like, yeah, I mean, obviously you want to do well, so it's like hard not to focus on the performance, but at the same time it's like, dude, these are things. It's like Andy in The Office saying like, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days, like when you're in the good old days, or whatever the quote is. Like, that's totally like, I doubt, obviously Josh, like for example, Josh Hoy will look back and be like, oh, this sucks. But at the same time, it's like great year, insane experiences. So yeah, just, I think kind of keeping that love for the sport. So shout out Graham Blanks. I think he's doing what he loves very evidently. Yeah. Which is important. It is. And will take him far. Oh yeah, 100%. I would say.
He just needs to hold on to that and enjoy every moment.
Yeah, totally. Because it's easy to get caught up in like pressure, contracts, performance, like whatever. But in the reality, it's kind of a funny thing, right? Because it is to be good, you have to be so serious and so dialed, but also at the same time, you also just have to have fun and like enjoy it. So it's like such a hard, I mean, speaking personally, like even in college, it's hard to strike that balance when you're like, oh, I want to do really well, but I also need to just like not worry so much about all this bullshit. So yeah, it doesn't really change. The better you get, the higher you go up in the sport. You still have to be having a really fun time and enjoying it to like get the best out of yourself, because it's really hard to run the best if you're not like having fun and happy and stuff. Totally. So yeah, anyways, I think that was probably one of my favorite. And Graham Blanks probably didn't think a single thing about that interaction of like, that we would have walked away from that being like, wow. Yeah, like that's cool. But yeah, anyways, that was cool. I really appreciated that moment. Me too. Just from afar. Yeah, anyways, okay. Pretty much, men's 3,000 meter steeplechase is the last distance event we have not talked about. No one that I'm like super familiar with in this race besides like Isaac Updike. He ran really good in Brussels. Ran 8:10, ran a PB, and is going to Worlds because Matt Wilkinson unfortunately broke his foot in the USA final. So it was his spot to take, but I think probably a hard decision for Matt Wilkinson to have a spot to go to Worlds, but probably for the best to not like try to run on a broken foot so soon after breaking it,
or even taking a free vacation, because he could have just been like, sure, I'll go, and then
I think also I'm sure there's an element of like medical, because he like posted online that he had broken his foot. Like if that was a secret, he probably could have gotten it, but I don't know if I can't imagine the USATF would be cool with people going that they know are hurt.
But
and like you could double check.
Gone before.
Yeah. Well, that's always the thing, right? Like if you qualify for the Olympics, like you're gonna run at the fucking Olympics, like no matter what, if you can, right?
Exactly.
Even if you, because like you earned it, at least as an American. But yeah, I mean, Isaac Updike, I think like him and Matt they've run like very similar PBs this year. I think they both run 8:10. So still sending someone that's super good. Again, I'm not a huge fan. Brandon Bernard, sorry. Is it Keter or Keter?
I don't know how he pronounces it. Keter, probably.
Yeah, but he failed to run the standard in Brussels.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer for him. Such a brutal system. He ran 8:16. He had to run under 8:15. So that's tough.
But Bernard's been in the game a long time.
Yeah, and he's been really good for a long time.
Yep, he's been really
and
good.
And he's made a lot of teams.
He has, yep.
Or he's made at least 2, right? Maybe more.
He's made at least 2.
Yeah, one of them being an Olympic team,
exactly.
Right?
The
Yeah.
most important, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah. Anyways, Isaac Updike finished 6th, ran 8:19, didn't have the best day, but is going to Worlds, so shout out Isaac. And then Frederick Rupert, won in 8:09, and he is, he's Belgium. Belgian. Yeah. Anyways, or German, whatever. He won and ran under.
Well, let me see that flag. German.
So yeah. Anyways, he won. Edmund Sarum was second, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce third place. But yeah. So very cool. But obviously, just because we didn't have as many people that we were interested in, not besides Isaac, we weren't. That wasn't as crazy of a race. But overall, the other couple events I was thinking of mentioning, it is a bummer. In the men's 100 meter, Christian Coleman won, but does not get a wild card because we already have a wild card with what's his face?
Kenny?
No.
Noah.
Yeah. Jesus. Yes. Noah. He was double world champion, so he had wild cards in both events for the 100 and 200. But yeah, I mean, at least Christian Coleman, obviously, like a little bit of a tumultuous year for him.
Yeah, in his personal life.
Yeah, so it was nice to see him get a win after
taking an L.
Yeah, maybe getting beat up.
Okay, no. He took an L.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was bummed for it. It's a little bit of a bummer. Like I kind of think that if you win the Diamond League final,
you should get precedent over.
No. I don't even think you should get precedent. I just think you should you just get another wild card spot.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Because then I could have 5 people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be like maybe a little bit overkill, but it's like, again.
But also, if they're the 5 best people.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of.
How crazy, just for example, imagine how crazy, say, a 100-meter final would be. There's 9 lanes, and 5 of those lanes are American.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Well, it's kind of a little bit of a weird thing, especially with like the world championships, that the world champion gets a wild card from 2 years ago, even though there was a more major like global championships, i.e. the Olympics last year, and the Olympic champions don't get buys if they weren't the world champion the year previously. Like in the 400 meter hurdles, like Rai Benjamin didn't have a buy to make the world team.
But he's an Olympic champ.
He's an Olympic champ. Like I think they should, if you're gonna give wild cards, but there's a more global championship the year before, it should be the Olympic champs that gets the wild card.
I think
it seems
absurd.
A little, yeah, it's totally dumb.
Because also, I hate to break it to everybody, but the Olympics means way more.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would agree with that.
And so it's like, why wouldn't you?
Well, no, it's just silly. It's just a silly thing. But I also think that I do think that the wild card.
I like the wild card.
I think it's great, but I think it should be expanded. Like, I don't think it should necessarily be limited to. In my opinion, I think it would be cool that like every race, right? It's not like, oh, there's a world champion in that event that's not here, and like they're from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It should. I mean, if you want to keep that, I'm fine with that. I think it should be. I'm fine with them keeping the wild card for the world champion for sure.
Yeah.
But.
Oh yeah, because Sydney didn't even run at the U.S. champs in the 400 hurdles.
Yeah, but I think she's just running the 400 this year.
But she has a bye. She could go.
Yeah, she could. But I think she only declared for the 400. I think.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, that'll be a good event. It'll see if she's just running the 400.
Then the 400 hurdles will actually be a really crazy competitive.
Well,
event.
But also the 400 because I don't think. I mean, she's definitely like a favorite to win, but she hasn't run like the women's 400 meter. Hold on, I can pull it up. Yeah, the women's 400 meter, the girl who won the Diamond League final, Salwa Nasser.
Where's she
Um,
from?
it looks like Qatar. I
Oh,
think she's like, I don't, yeah, looks like Qatar. She ran 48.70.
wow.
I don't think that Sydney has run much faster than that. So,
Wow.
point being,
Could be really
could be a
tight.
good race.
Yeah,
Which,
that's exciting. I
my,
want to see that.
yeah, my hot take is I haven't really found many of Sydney McLaughlin's races to be that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, she's going to win.
Yeah.
And it is incredible to watch someone run a world record, but it's like, I'd rather watch people.
Duke it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
same.
rather watch good racing.
Yeah.
So yeah, if she is running, we might be wrong on that, but if she is just running the 400, I appreciate stepping into an event where you're not like the overwhelming favorite and
I agree.
putting it on the line.
I agree. Or if she is doing both,
I don't think she is.
but if she is, that'd be a brutal way to do it because the
Yeah.
400 is really hard. And obviously you have to run, a semi, a prelim, and a final. And they'd probably put her on the 4x4 as well. So it would be a lot of racing for her if she is going to do the hurdles as well as the flat 400. So
Yep.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Are there any more events we want to discuss before we dive into the next?
Yeah, well, hold on. Let me just double check here. I would say men's 400. Um, this is pretty cool. Wait, what the fuck? Did I look at the wrong event? Hold on. 400 men is what's his face won. Got a wild card for. Oh yeah, Jakari Patterson wins in a PB 43.85. Definitely becoming a favorite to win in Tokyo, but also he secured a wild card for Vernon Norwood. So Vernon Norwood makes another global championship.
Dude, he's like the dad of the sprint team, I swear. Like in Tokyo and in Paris, he was the dad of both teams. Like making sure all the young guys knew what they were supposed to be doing, making sure everyone's uniforms were good, checking in on all the guys.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
He's cool. I'm happy that he gets to make another world team.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
And the Jakari Patterson is a pretty cool story because I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, he was the guy that won a Grand Slam, but like was working for UPS and then got a Nike contract. Granted, I don't think he's gonna make all the money from Grand Slam, but he has had a great year and went from working at UPS to now being
A Diamond League final champion.
making a world team, which I don't think he made before, and a Diamond League champion. And yeah, I mean, so
Well,
great
guess what?
year.
In a month, after the drug tests are in, he's definitely getting paid from the Diamond League final.
That's true. Yeah, and I wonder if that was a Diamond League Plus event. But yeah, also that's the other thing is a lot of these events or some of them were Diamond League Plus events, so the winners actually made 50 grand for winning, which is fucking awesome.
That's a shit ton of money.
Yeah, and they're actually gonna get paid.
Yep.
So I guess that launches into the other part that we wanted to talk about, which I guess I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, so one of the things that, obviously has been going on this year is Grand Slam.
Yeah.
And everyone was so excited about Grand Slam, not because the competition was necessarily better, but because the paychecks were outrageous, or the alleged paychecks.
Well, now the alleged paychecks. But I think the reason why honestly, I think that reason why everyone was so excited was it was just like a new thing in track and field.
That was really exciting. Like, it is cool. I was excited that the Diamond League finally had some competition and that there would be premier races on U.S. soil.
Yeah.
Because as of right now, in the United States, there's only a couple gold level meets pre in the U.S. championships. Other than that, all the other races in the U.S. are usually like silver and bronze level meets, which is great. You can still get points. But it's insane to me that most U.S. athletes have to travel to Europe or even further to get those type of meets.
And it felt like this year more than ever there was less meets.
This year more than ever
Yeah.
there was less. And Grand Slam to me looked like this great opportunity for there to be really competitive and potentially like gold level sanctioned meets right here in the United States.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if they were gold level sanctioned this year or not.
I don't think they were this year, but obviously the goal, like the thought was they were going to be competitive with Diamond League. And if they were,
Well, yeah, I mean
that would
that's
be
definitely like whether or not that was their intention, everyone was going to compare them to Diamond Leagues
that was the
because
perception.
that's the only equivalent
Well,
of
Diamond League is the
their
standard.
right, yeah. And yeah, I mean what I would say about like I guess to kick off talking about like kind of Grand Slam, I think it's really relevant is like if you looked at the Diamond League final and honestly any of the Diamond
Brussels
Leagues,
or Luzon or
yeah,
Oslo.
so many of them. The only one that's like maybe doesn't look as good is like Rome because the stadium's so enormous.
Yeah.
But like basically,
But they still put like 20,000
I don't
people.
know. I don't know how many people were at Rome, but yes, still a lot of people, like regardless. But yeah, hard to fill a stadium like that for just
The stadium's like a 60,000.
yeah, it's like 60 or 70,000 people.
It's enormous.
Fucking enormous. But like my takeaway is like, you know, Zurich is like sold out. And every like when we were in Oslo,
Sold out.
sold out. I was sitting to watch your race in Oslo. I was literally sitting in the rafters in a non-official seat. And so like my big thing is like, and honestly, if you look at Diamond League's product, it is a fucking good product. And in Europe and other like non like US countries, there are people that are willing to show up and pay and fill the seats.
Even Doha was full.
Yeah, Doha was full.
So and people came from Kenya to see it. Like the stands were packed with Kenyan fans
yeah,
in Doha, Qatar.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so like my big takeaway is like, you know, I feel like there was this thing, like I guess one of the equivalents I would say is Grand Slam kind of came in with this like energy, like, you know, we're here to like innovate the sport and like change the game.
And his tagline was like, we're going to revolutionize track and field.
Yeah, and I think my takeaway and it is a little cynical, and it's very well documented my skepticism of Grand Slam on my other podcast that I had previously, but like looking at the Diamond Leagues, it's not a product that needed like altering. You know, like it was a really good product. They tried some things like the mile steeplechase, like which is good. Like they need to innovate and try new things and like try the wild card system.
And they do exhibition races. Like remember when
yeah. In Brussels, they did this like influencer 100 meters, which like a bunch of people were like stoked about. Like we were all in the practice field, like you were warming up, and like a bunch of people were watching on this like big screen that they had on the practice field, like this influencer 100 meters, like stuff like that is awesome. Like it is really fun.
And
like
it matters because then all of a sudden these influencers are creating content basically for free about track and field.
yes.
And their fans might come to these events to watch their favorite YouTuber race.
Yeah, like so speaking of which, like we actually know I watched the videos of one of the YouTubers that ran in this like exhibition in Brussels. That they're YouTubers, their name is like the Sickos. It's like this group of like friends that do all this like crazy shit. They live up in the Pacific Northwest, but Max, one of their like group members,
He's like a core member of the group.
yeah, he went and did it. And I wish it was I mean yeah, but it was cool. It was super cool and super fun, and I think that's the sort of stuff that's like innovative and like does make an impact on the sport and was just like fun, right? Like at the end of the day, like it's entertainment.
Or like when Mondo raced Karsten.
Yeah, sick.
In the 100 1v1. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
legit.
fun. Yeah, that was totally fun.
And
that's the type of stuff the sport needs.
Yep. And the mile steeplechase too, if that kind of becomes like an exhibition, that's fun. It only takes, 5 minutes for the women to do it, and it's sick.
Yeah, so like I think with the Diamond League, so like my point here, I guess like specifically on the Diamond League, is like they are doing a unbelievable job. They're throwing on all these meets. All these meets are like mostly sold out in like stadiums that make sense. There's clearly interest, like streams like Flow Track are doing a great job broadcasting it. They're making it fun.
The drug testers are there. The athletes get paid.
It's well run.
The meat hotels are nice. The transportation is perfect.
Yeah, it's a very seamless experience for track and field. It is absolutely the standard
for the fans and the athletes.
Yeah, and my takeaway was like this, you cannot look at like the Diamond League final and be like, this is a broken product. I think it's actually a product that has so much potential and it just needs further investment.
And I will say, the fact that there was Diamond Plus this year came from pressure
from Grand Slam, from like the money thing, which is good, which is definitely a positive influence.
Yep, 100%.
But I think, like revolutionizing like the sport of track and field, I think is just like, I think it's good. Like, I think the best part about what Grand Slam did was that it was investing in the sport, which is what the sport needs.
Yep.
I think they definitely overshot the mark. Mm-hmm. I think there's a 0% chance that any of those athletes get paid. And I think, unfortunately, it will have a negative impact on the sport when it could have been really good.
The thing that's most frustrating to me is that, and I understand that they were trying to do something new and, the people who organized it had all these brilliant ideas, but if they had just taken a smaller step, instead of saying we're going to pay the winner $100,000 right off the rip, if they had taken smaller steps to at least like get a little closer to being competitive with Diamond League, and maybe like Diamond League, if you win a regular event during the regular season, I think it pays like 10 grand if you win, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
If they had said, okay, well, for this league, we can pay the winner 5 grand. That's still a lot.
Or no, not even. I would say like they're like.
Can I finish my thought?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Even if they had said like, okay, we'll pay all the winners 10 grand or 5 grand or whatever, that would have been enough for me as like a racer in the US to be seriously interested in this meet. Mm-hmm. Because for me, if I want an opportunity to get points and to get paid, I have to go to these Diamond League meets and all of them are in Europe.
Yeah.
The only Diamond League race that's in the United States is pre. And a lot of times, luckily, Nike athletes get preference. But still, for some of these other athletes, like if they want to compete, they have to go to Europe. And at the end of the day, like traveling that much does take a toll.
For sure.
It is significantly easier to compete on your home turf, like in your country, than it is to travel, across the Atlantic Ocean to compete. And so for me, it was a huge disappointment that this thing totally blew up, that they'll probably never get a second chance, because it was such a cool opportunity to bring track and field to the United States. Because we have some of the best track and field athletes in the world in every event. And it's crazy to me that at the Brussels Diamond League, that stadium seats like 30,000 people.
It's huge.
And it was packed.
So is Zurich. I've never been to Zurich, but it looks big.
It was packed. Like there are these huge stadiums that are packed. And like one of the biggest meets that I went to in the past in the US was like Mount Sac, which I think seats like 5,000 people.
Yep.
And the stadium was full, which at that period of time was like, wow, there's 5,000 people watching this meet. But to me, it just seemed like a huge miss. Like if Grand Slam had focused more on cultivating support from the audience and trying to fill these stadiums and like, creating competitive meets similar to the Diamond League here in the US, just to create this environment. Because then if Grand Slam had been able to fill a small stadium, then guess what? All of a sudden, they can start upping the pay. They can start making things a little nicer. They can probably get more investors. Like, hey, look, we filled this 20,000 person stadium in LA for this track meet. We made X amount of money off of this meet from ticket sales. Like, I don't know if Grand Slam, maybe they made a little bit of money on ticket sales this year, but all of the meets combined in ticket sales, or at least people, all of the people combined who went to Grand Slam probably couldn't have filled the Zurich Diamond League stadium. And that to me is like a huge miss, because we had an opportunity to like bring eyes to the sport in the US and to give ourselves an opportunity to fill stadiums and give US racers a chance.
Yeah, I think 100% agreed. You know, like if I was an investor and you're looking at it objectively, like yes, I think there's more historical like significance around like track and field in Europe than there is in like the US, just as far as from like obviously having the Diamond League over there, but it's clearly like that there's opportunity. And like I was actually thinking about this and you can let me know what you think, but you know, like a huge criticism of say like soccer or like football in other countries um, is that, you know, it can be kind of boring, like it's low scoring games, whatever. And like if you think about like track and field, um, there's, you know, every like 10, 15 minutes, there's some sort of exciting event happening, which you could make an argument that like there's more like exciting moments than say like an incredibly popular sport that like soccer worldwide. And I think the biggest thing is more just like getting people like marketing the sport, investing in the sport. Like one thing that I think is really true. So like a sport that I'm a huge fan of and has grown a ton in the last like 10, 15 years is the UFC, like mixed martial arts. And they didn't, they haven't changed, like the UFC hasn't changed the way like, you know, fights have happened. But like one thing that like Dana White always talks about is like, oh, if like they get a fighter from a certain country, it helps them expand into that market, right? So if like they get like a Mexican fighter, it like helps grow their audience in Mexico because now there's like people from that country have a fighter who like they really give a shit about. And so it helps expand in those markets. So like in track and field, like I think there's this huge opportunity. Think about Formula One. It's the same thing. Like the US was not a huge market for Formula One, and then Drive to Survive comes out, creates this huge, like way, way bigger fan base, and they expand much more into the American market, and it's this huge success. I think the thing that Grand Slam missed was taking advantage of like it's Michael Johnson is obviously an American. The American market is the place where there's like all this untapped potential.
It's not like it's not marketable. Look at Tara Woodall. She's like an insanely marketable person.
Yeah, there's tons of marketable
Same
people.
with Sydney McLaughlin. Like
yeah, and they did recruit those like high level athletes, but I think what they in my opinion, it's like they were so focused on like making it like I think they approach it too much from an athlete perspective.
Yep.
Which, I mean, obviously, yeah, you want to pay the athletes. I think, of course, like I'm a huge proponent of like athletes getting paid like over and over and over again. You see like amazing athletes in the sport of track and field, not like making more money or like barely scraping by or making nothing, which is sad. But at the end of the day, like saying you're going to pay people 100 grand to win a race and actually being able to pay for it are two different things. And like they needed to focus more on the fundamentals. And I think they just came in like, you know, it's almost like Michael Johnson was like, saw these inequities as like an athlete himself and like wanted to be the guy that came in and changed it. But when you go to Jamaica, which literally makes no sense, I said this, and this is well documented on my other podcast, which again, that podcast doesn't exist anymore. But if you're skeptical, I said, I literally did not understand. Like if you look at Jamaica in Kingston, they never have filled up that stadium. So choosing that, and the funny thing is their investor, their primary investor, allegedly pulled out after that first meet. The first day should have been the most important part when they're like, we have to make sure wherever the fuck we are, the stadium is packed.
Yep.
If you were an investor and you watch Kingston and there's like 5 people in the stands
and there's like trash
and
on
you're
fire
not committed to giving the rest of your like 30 million, what would you do? Like, I hate to say it, like, and the problem is they overshot their mark. They created so much overhead for themselves in the sense of like athlete pay. Like, in my opinion, they could have been like, hey, instead of paying 100 grand, pay 20, right? Or whatever. Like, yeah, you could do it in the inverse and pay 5, like pay less, but it's still better than nothing because before there was no money and now there's more money. But
I mean, if they had, I think that if it had been 20 grand, even if it was double Diamond League money, 20 grand,
And the final race was like the Diamond League final, paid more.
Exactly. And if the final race was more, but I don't think that they would have been able to get some of the athletes that they had committed as racers unless they showed, like, I really think that 100 grand brought in people who would never have joined a league like that unless it was so much.
Yeah, and
genuinely.
No, I agree. I think at the end of the day, though, that like,
but it would have brought in some people. Like, I think that, for example, I think Melissa Jefferson, even if it was 10 grand or 20 grand, she probably would have still been there fighting for that.
Well, right, but it was also like along the same lines as like, okay, Cindy McLaughlin, like arguably one of the biggest names in the sport, if not the biggest name, besides maybe Noah Lyles, and like Sha'Carri Richardson. Yeah, she went and did Grand Slam. Her races were the most boring.
I know,
because she was in the 400-meter hurdles, and it wasn't like Femke Bol was there, like duking it out with her, and obviously like even Femke Bol has, I don't know if ever beaten.
She beat her like once years ago.
Whatever. It's just like, it's not the most interesting races. You know, Cindy McLaughlin's gonna win, and she's making 100 grand in the process. Like, it's like, I don't know, it just seems kind of like a broken system. But yeah, it's really frustrating to me, and obviously there's people that raced in Grand Slam who made it, or on paper made a ton of money, and are not getting paid, or obviously going to be the most frustrated. But it's just really frustrating as like a fan of the sport to just have this really positive thing of like investment in the sport, but then I think just get away from the fundamentals. Like, at the end of the day, like, you have to make the racing really, really interesting for people to care, and you have to go into like good markets. Like, I think Philly was a good place to do it. Like, the stands there were much better. I think LA would have been good. I think, switching it up from like a place like Kingston, Jamaica, which again literally makes no sense because they can't even fill up their stands when like Usain Bolt was like at his best, like and they had like their national championships there. It's not like, I don't know, maybe that stadium has been sold out before, but it is a huge stadium, and it was empty for most of Grand Slam besides maybe the second day. I mean, it was still empty relatively, but it was better than the first day. Yeah, I think that
it was a huge missed opportunity that, unfortunately, like, we may not get a second chance to create a new league.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, the idea of a league is so important, right?
Yeah.
Like the Diamond League being in cahoots with Worlds to give these people an opportunity to potentially qualify for World Championships through the Diamond League final. Like, that's exciting. That's huge. And the fact that this brand new league that was based in the United States with US backers, with a US team, failed so miserably is just disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it's still TBD, I guess, if it's like officially going to fail, but my prediction is that there won't be a 2026 season, and unfortunately, I would say that the odds of any of those athletes getting paid are next to zero. I mean, in my mind, again, I don't have any inside information, so I could be totally wrong, so I'm happy to, I hope I eat my words, like, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, because these athletes,
but like,
deserve.
They were promised, like, this stuff, but I think the problem is that, you're, basically like, they haven't paid the athletes, and hopefully they have some money, so at least maybe they check down to like paying the athletes whatever money they actually have left, if they do have any money left, which again probably is low. But I think at the end of the day, like, what's the pitch to an investor to get them to come on to the 2026 season? Oh, hey, we have like 13 or 12 or $13 million in outstanding debts to all these athletes, which, hey, straight up, like, we can't have a 2026, because even if they pay the athletes half of what they're promised, how do you go forward and have a 2026 season? I don't think you can, because no one's going to sign up, because it's like, okay, your first season before all this negative media and lack of trust, you promised all this stuff. How are you going to go ahead and have another one if, you pay a partial payment to these athletes? Anyways, the pitch to an investor is so difficult, because it's like, hey, we have $12 million in debt to these athletes that, hey, you have to take a loss on for there to even be a 2026 season before there's even a chance to start making money in the future. Yeah. Like, you either have to have someone who has so much money that just doesn't care, which most investors won't be like that.
Because at that point it's just charity.
Yeah, right.
Like,
well, yeah, it's just a bad, I think not even charity, it's just a bad investment.
Yeah,
it's just a horrible ass investment. So you either have to have someone who like loves track and field and just wants to not see this horrible thing happen, which I think is gonna, even if you love track and field, I don't know if you're willing to fork over that sort of cash, unless you're like a Phil Knight sort of individual. But anyways,
And even
point,
then,
yeah, point being, I think the only other way that the league is safe, like I don't think there's just going to be a random investor. Like if you're coming from someone who's like, we want to invest in this to make money, I don't think that that type of person is going to give money to
because
Grand
it clearly
Slam.
isn't making any money.
Well, I think it's like it's yet to be proven, but now the product of Grand Slam is so damaged.
Yeah.
It's such a damaged product. Like, why wouldn't you, if you were going to invest that money, why not just like go do it on your own or like separate, which
would be great.
Yeah, and that should happen. Like my point is like if you look at the Diamond League, it fucking works.
Just copy
it
that.
It fucking works.
Literally copy that.
Yeah,
like,
that's what's so frustrating about Grand Slam. It's like, what the fuck? You guys fucked this up so bad because across the pond, they are killing it.
Literally.
They are fucking killing it.
Yep.
The sport is fucking amazing. And you guys wanted to go all in on this, like, we're going to pay the athlete. It's like,
it's silly.
It's just fucking frustrating as a fan of the sport because now it's like this negative impact thing when simultaneously you have this other league, Diamond League, who's doing so well. And again, like I do really, I don't want to say like it's full criticism. I think, I do think that there's some positive things that have come out, like Diamond League Plus, and like competition is good, right? Like you don't want to have a monopoly on things,
totally,
which is essentially what the Diamond League is.
That's the thing that's the most frustrating to me is the monopoly that the Diamond League has.
Yeah, it would be nice if Diamond League invested in like trying. I mean, hopefully, what I would hope is that the Diamond League. The problem is for the Diamond League to invest into the U.S. It's like hard because they already have such an established like market that I mean I would imagine is producing well for them.
Well,
so it's hard for them to go away from that.
And like you said, which I'm not 100% sure about this, but you know, the only US race that the Diamond League supports is Pre, and Pre is probably heavily subsidized by Nike.
Yeah, I don't know that for sure. I mean, it's still packed. I mean, Pre is fucking great every single time. Shout out Nike, Pre, shout out Nike. It's so sick.
It is sick.
But every Pre I've been to, I've been like, this is so cool.
The thing is, it would be like LA has all kinds of beautiful track stadiums that could be used. And that if anyone, I even think that Sound is doing a great job. And every year the Sound meets get better and better.
Yeah, Sound is cool.
I feel like, but the problem with Sound is it's pretty much just a distance meet. Like sometimes they have an 800.
Yeah, it's just a distance meet. And yeah, it has good races because there's a lot of Americans.
And they have money. Like if you win, you can win like $3,000.
Yeah, but it's not like a huge, it's not like even like the stands there are packed.
Right.
You know, it definitely could be better. But
and they're not
still
level meets.
Yeah, they should be. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that part I don't know. But
you can get points from Sound, but because they are like a sanctioned thing, but they're not like of the highest level. And this is the thing that's the most frustrating is the US has all of these beautiful facilities. Almost every high school in the United States has a 400-meter outdoor track.
That's probably not true.
Okay, well, a bunch of high schools in the US have these tracks, right? Like if you take a picture of a town in Wisconsin, odds are there's a track around their high school
football. Yeah, it might not be super nice.
It might not be super nice, but we have a shit ton of tracks here.
Yeah.
And all of these D1 colleges have really nice tracks, usually.
Yeah.
And most of these tracks have been sanctioned to host college meets, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of college meets usually. It's incredibly frustrating to me that the NCAA doesn't pony up and try to make these meets bronze level. The fact that the NCAA championship isn't like a silver level meet to me is insane. Because then all these college kids can't get any points.
Yeah, it's basically a pro meet.
There's like no opportunities in the US to get points. It's really hard. And now that the Worlds is trying to make it so that half of the people competing at Worlds get in on points and the other half get in on the A standard, it's getting harder and harder for US athletes to get enough points.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of, and that's the thing to me that I feel like Grand Slam missed the mark, is like it could have been a league where you could get points in the US.
Yeah, I think more just like, I think you've seen it enough in other sports where if you invest in places where they're underserved markets, that there's opportunity there. But you have to go about it in the right way. And I think that unfortunately, you know, their approach was really bad. They focused too much on like athlete pay. Like, and that was one thing. Again, this is just personal, not to say that other people don't feel that way, but like when every race was like, oh, they just won 100 grand. It's like, for me as a viewer, that doesn't make it more interesting to me. Like, I'm happy that they're getting paid. Well, I guess they're not. Well, we'll see.
They might not get paid.
But it's nice. It's cool for the athlete that they might be making that much money. But like as a viewer, the thing that I care most about is like, was the race entertaining?
Yep.
Right. And I wasn't a huge fan of like the double race format. I think at the end of the day, like
And the 3-day race format, remember that?
yeah, they changed that instantly, probably also because it was way insanely too expensive. But
And it was
too long. It was too much. It was too much time.
even at the US
It should be
Championships.
one day.
Yeah.
Like Diamond League,
100%.
a Diamond League again. I think that they, again, like I wonder what their thought process was, because it's like if you look at the Diamond League, it's a good product. There's a lot of people there. They're doing like 1-day meets. I mean, I guess like you could argue that the Diamond League final or like some of the Diamond Leagues, they have like throws and like jumps like the day before. Like in Zurich, they had like the throws and jumps in like I think like a city square, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Which
those
is super
are like
cool.
the super cool exhibition
Yeah.
events.
Well, they're not exhibition. I mean, they're still like the Diamond League final.
Right, but they host them in like train stations and in parks.
Yeah, it's cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. But I think it was too much about like the money and like, oh, we're going to change the game. And they didn't need to go to that level. They could have doubled Diamond League pay. They could have
matched Diamond League pay.
Yeah, they could have matched Diamond League pay, or they could have doubled Diamond League pay, and it still would have been like, oh my God, this is awesome.
It would have been insane.
Yeah. And instead, and then because of that, they created all this overhead, and like, okay, now they have $12 million in outstanding debt to athletes, which they haven't paid, and is becoming obviously a huge problem. And now track and field is getting all this negative press around, you know, the failing around Grand Slam.
And Michael Johnson's getting negative press.
Oh yeah, he'll never be able to show up to another. I mean, if he doesn't pay athletes, I mean, he'll be. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, he's not going to be able to go to like track things like where people know who he is.
Be mad.
Yeah, like if he could go to like speaking events and talk about his like amazing career and stuff like that, but I mean, he's not going to be able to go to U.S. champs. Like he'll be ostracized from the sport because he just screwed so many people over. I mean, again, not intentionally.
He made promises
not
that
intentionally.
He couldn't fulfill.
Yeah,
and
which is a shame.
That's really a shame. And honestly, it's just incredibly disappointing because there was an opportunity to kind of fill a market gap, and it wasn't done in a way that was sustainable with the future in mind, or even copying like any. I mean, they could have copied the Diamond League. They could have copy pasted the Diamond League here in the US, and I think it would have been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it would have taken time. It would have taken time to like build the market. Like, it's just But
they could have done it for
really
an eighth of the cost if they matched Diamond League pay.
Yeah, well,
which is insane.
A tenth.
A tenth of the cost if they had matched Diamond League pay, which is like, okay, guys, like.
Well, I had this high school finance teacher. His name was Mr. Tuttle. And this is a common saying, but he used to have all these things that were like flakes of gold. And I think there's 2 flakes of gold that Mr. Tuttle, like, again, it was like all sorts of shit. Like, anyways, not to get off on a tangent here, but basically there's 2 things that I think are really applicable to Grand Slam. One thing was, you know, if it looks too good to be true, probably is, which was Grand Slam. Like, it's like $100,000 for winning a single event. Like, where are we getting the money for that? That's too good to be true, right? It's kind of like, so I think that's one thing. The other thing that I think, and I think it's just related to the Diamond League, is like smart people learn from other people's mistakes, average people learn from their own mistakes, and idiots learn from no one's mistakes. And I think the frustrating thing is that Grand Slam had the playbook from Diamond League. They just needed to invest more money, create storylines, but they just changed too much. They wanted to pay athletes way too much, which created too much overhead. I wasn't a huge fan of the race format. Like, I want to see I want to see Grant Fisher go head to head with the best people in the world and just race the best people in the world. I also don't think like having contracted racers, there was too few people in the races where it's like, hey, like just try to get the best people to each race. But it was also one of those things too, where I think athletes also had to consider, if you're not a racer, they had to consider like, okay, well, or if you, maybe they had the opportunity to be a racer, like, is this the best thing for my season?
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. And I mean, I don't think there was a ton of huge success stories out of Grand Slam of like, I mean, maybe Jakari Patterson in the 400 was, but I don't think he was like
wasn't a racer.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a whatever challenger.
So yeah. Anyways, it's
Nikki did well out of it.
Yeah.
But I think there aren't very many other people who were racers who.
Well, here's the question you'd have to ask all the racers, and I would imagine we'd have a pretty good guess as to what they would say. Like, hey, if it wasn't for the money, would you do Grand Slam again?
I bet a lot of them would say
no one would
no.
say
Well, because the reality is,
because it's not like the best thing for your season. The season started in April.
You can go to a Diamond League and get a guaranteed payday if you win, or if you finish in the top 8.
Right. Yeah.
And you're guaranteed a packed stadium with Diamond League as well. Yeah. I mean, heck, even if you go to Sound and you win, you can get $3,000, and they'll might be like a couple thousand people in the stadium, and they'll sometimes pay for your travel as well. And so it's like, okay, well, what exactly, besides the money, what did Grand Slam provide?
Yeah, I think, well, so the thing I would say, like, I think we've been rambling on this for a while and probably going in circles, but I think the thing I would say is that I commend them for trying to invest in the sport.
Yep.
I think they definitely missed the mark. I think they had poor business practices. I don't think they had good financial oversight. I think that they were trying to change too much when they didn't need to, and there was a good model in Diamond League that they could have taken a lot of really the core elements. And my message, my takeaway is like, I do think there's a ton of opportunity in the sport. And I think it's a shame that unfortunately there will be a lot of negative associated press, and it'll probably affect future potential investor, or it'll make more, the possibility of future investment more hesitant in the sport, when my message is like, hey, no, wait, like, really, if you really look at it, I think there is a lot of good opportunity. Just there needs to be a better model and
more financial sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would be really curious, like, from the business side, I'd be really curious if they even had like a CFO, whoever was like, do we think this is a good idea? Like, anyway, that's just my business side of the brain. But anyways, yeah, I think along with a lot of people, have Grand Slam has been a really interesting thing, but hopefully they get it figured out. Fingers crossed that we're wrong. We eat our words. They pay the athletes. There's a 2026 season.
I would love to be wrong.
I would love to be wrong, but if there was a betting line on no 2026 season, I would take that all day long. So at least someone can make money from Grand Slam. Yeah, but anyways, it is a shame. But anyways, yeah. Shout out Grand Slam for trying.
Missed the mark
heavily.
But investors, don't give up.
On track and field.
Don't give up on track and field in the United States. At some point, hopefully another league will pop up. And I think that it will be really cool. And if you invest,
there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity.
I mean, U.S. athletes are very marketable, and there's a lot of really interesting people out there who do track and field. And I do think that if they, kind of did more stories about the athletes and they did better marketing, there's a lot of people who would be interested in going to track meets to watch their track heroes go compete. And so, yeah, don't give up on the U.S., but maybe choose a different business model next time. Yeah,
so much of having a successful business is having a good business model.
Yeah.
So which I definitely learned throughout my business, like professional experience. But anyways, I think that's a fairly good place to start wrapping up the pod. We had a request from one of our listeners. Shout out our friend Marcus. But he sent in a comment on the pod saying we should, did he say we should end every episode with a conspiracy theory? So we'll give that out a try. So I'll leave it over to Val. She does enjoy good conspiracy theory. So
I'm the resident conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. So what's your conspiracy theory for the week?
Okay. So this one is probably my favorite one. My conspiracy theory for the week is that the Great Pyramids in Egypt were built by aliens.
And what's the reason why they were like why were they built by aliens? Like what about it makes sense that it's more sensible that aliens built it than humans?
Um, I think that the fact that no one really knows what the purpose of the pyramids is, and the ancient Egyptians documented like everything,
Yeah.
right? And there's like really no documentation on how the Great Pyramids were built
Right.
or what they were even used for.
Right.
And the smaller pyramids that are like around the Great Pyramids were built by the Egyptians, but they're shittier than like the Great Pyramid. And they are documented on like how they made the little ones. And some people think that the Great Pyramids are like super old. Like, I want to say like 30,000 years old, which is old as fuck, right? And so, and then I love the like, oh, the Great Pyramid is like an ancient power source that the aliens built for us. I love that. I think that's really cool. But maybe it was just ancient humans were just really good at moving giant rocks. I don't know. But I like to think that maybe aliens built it.
Yeah, I know that like a big thing is like they don't know how they like actually moved some of like the actual pieces of rock because they're so enormously massive and so heavy.
And precisely placed.
Yeah, I will say though that like if you look at some of the shit we've built,
It is impressive.
like the Burj Al Khalifa or
Burj Khalifa.
Burj Khalifa, yeah. I don't know. It's like okay.
Yeah, but like we had modern machinery.
No, I know, but with modern machinery, you could probably rebuild the pyramids, right?
They say it would be, they still aren't 100% sure on how they would do it because there's so much material.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that it is an interesting one. They're
But I
definitely
mean,
like crazy.
slaves and infinite time can do a lot of things, right? And that
Yeah.
that could be how it was built. Lots of slaves and lots of time.
I've
But
definitely seen like those like animations of like how they use like water systems like to like basically float these giant blocks like up.
yeah, but they would have still had to build things to get all the way
No.
like this too. So it's kind of like, okay, well, maybe that's how they got them from the quarry down to the site, but then how the frick did they get them like up there? I don't know. It's interesting. Like, what if aliens built it?
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the first conspiracy theory. Let us know what you think. I guess like a couple things to round it out. Like definitely leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you'd like us to talk about. If you have any questions, to like ask us, you can shoot us a DM on Instagram, or comment on like the Spotify post. We're just posting it on like Spotify and YouTube right now. I don't know if there's anyone that wants us to post like elsewhere. I don't actually know if people listen to stuff on like Apple Music that much. But yeah, if you guys consume your podcast elsewhere and you want us to post, just let us know. We're kind of just posting on Spotify and YouTube right now, but we're open to posting elsewhere. And then also, yeah, we definitely want to have some guests on. I don't know when that will happen necessarily, but let us know if there's anyone top of mind that you'd like to have us have on the podcast. I mean, obviously there's a lot of like runners in Boulder, so maybe we could ask some people. Like I would be like the easy way.
Within reason. Like, I don't think Joe Rogan's going to come on our podcast, but
Yeah, I meant like more like runners.
okay.
Yeah, like Boulder runners probably would be like our target guess potentials people. So anyways, yeah, we're having a fun time. It's been really fun recording the first two. So far, I think just keep it rolling, but let us know what you think. Anything else that you want to add?
Thanks for listening. If you've made it this far, thank you so, so much. Like the video on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, rate the podcast on Spotify, 5 stars only.
Yeah, turn on alerts on like all the, because I think there's alerts on YouTube, there's alerts on Instagram, like when we post stuff, because we'll be posting on our Instagram. But yeah, we're pumped to keep it rolling. So we'll see you soon. Definitely got to do some predictions for Worlds. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll do some live reactions. I don't know. But yeah, we'll keep the track content coming. But if there's anything else you want us to talk about, let us know.
Thanks,
Sweet.
guys.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.